Hey everybody, Vivian here with another tutorial using Scraps of Darkness's February Simple Pleasures kit. I'm calling this a mini canvas. It's a card, but I really started to approach my cards like mini canvases, and I've been having a really great time, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I have a little supply list here I'm going to share with you, and while that's scrolling down, I just want to tell you guys that I actually started paper crafting through cards. And it was at the tail end of a very long teaching career. I was under a lot of financial strain and I couldn't afford to get a good friend a present, so I made her a card. Turns out the card was better than any gift I could have purchased. She loved it so much that I, right then and there, took up paper crafting, starting with cards. And the thing I love especially about cards is that they never overwhelm, whereas some other projects sometimes do. And the final result is something that's always going to make someone else really, really happy. Whether it's uber simple, clean and simple, or on the intricate side, like our card project today is going to be. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. I'm really excited to share with you some really easy techniques and one or two new ones I just learned. So let's get started with the tutorial. So I cut a few pieces of pattern paper from the kit this month. Those two are from Kaiser Crafts Marigold collection. And then the bird I cut out using a Sizzix Big Die. It's called Bird Branches. It's one of my current favorite dies from Sizzix, and in conjunction with some Prima engraver paper. Some cool font on there. And the Wuthering Heights book paper also came in the set this month, which is really great because it's a thinner paper and you can very easily rip it up and collage with it. I am using a foam brush that's actually still kind of wet from water, along with some gesso from Liquitex, just to create some variety in the way my pattern papers will absorb media. You can do that with a whole bunch of different applications, but the really easy one that's usually always on hand for you mixed media enthusiasts is the gesso. So I did that to those two papers, and I actually decided to leave that bird alone. And once those pieces of paper were dry, I distressed the edges using the inside edge of a pair of scissors that I own. And then once that was done, I just crushed it up to distress it further. So these are very common distressing techniques. And I used some of the beautiful media that came in the kit this month. This is the Toffee Mist. No, I'm sorry, this is Cinnamon Toast. And it's very much like a toffee color. And I'm leaving it crushed up like that so that the mist can settle in all the valleys that I've created from that folding. And I'm doing the same with this darker piece. And I'm actually going to use the Timeless mist for this one, which is a nice ochre-y yellow type of color. And I'm also going to let the mist settle into those little valleys of this piece as well. I'm sort of intentionally keeping the coloring of each piece separate to help create some distinct elements in a collaged card front. So you can see in these crumpled pieces that the areas that I gessoed really didn't take very much of the colorations mist at all. And the places that were not gessoed absorbed that mist quite well. And what tends to happen when the paper gets wet is it wants to sort of get lazy and spread out. I really wanted the mist to concentrate in the little valleys, so I propped it up in such a way so that it would stay that way. I ripped up the vintage book pages that came in the kit and spritzed them with the third mist that came in our kit this month, and that's the Art Anthology Colorations Spray in, what was that color? Juicy. I was a little bit, what's the word? Shy about misting, so I spritzed it with some water first, just to get a more dilute application of that mist. So once all of your colorations mists have been absorbed into the paper and they're not pooling around in there, you could actually speed up the process with the heat tool. But look what happened. So some really funky pooling, and the colors turned out really cool. On this piece, the yellow, the Timeless Colorations Mist actually showed up better on the underside, even though I had sprayed the top side. So I'm going to use the underside. One thing that I really love about approaching mixed media in this way, using your mists and your various paints, is that you can use your favorite patterned papers. The great thing about the patterned papers in this month's kit is they're rather neutral. So you mist them up the way we're doing, and you customize the coloring to your liking, but you maintain the patterns of the paper that you have, and create a really unified composition color-wise, because you're, using this palette of colors throughout your project. So we got those beautiful colors to settle into the valleys. Now I'm just going to spread this paper out and distress the hilltops, and really create a really modeled surface to play with. So the reason I chose to sand at this point is because I've already applied some media, and with the sanding I can exaggerate the contrast between the darker areas and the lighter raised areas of the pattern paper. So pretty much all my individual elements have been prepared, and now it's time to start assembling my little mini canvas card. Because everything's been so wrinkled and handled and altered, you want to use a really strong adhesive to get your little mini canvas to stick very well on top of your card front. And I used a very sturdy piece of cardstock, and I cut it to a standard A2 card size. So I'm pressing that paper down, and I will confess at the same time I'm satisfying the tactile addict within. I have a feeling most mixed media enthusiasts really are very sensitive in the tactile area, and everything's very much about texture. So this is a new tool that was introduced to me by a wonderful crafter. Her name is Stephanie Ackerman, and it's called Glue and Seal. It's kind of like a Mod Podge or a decoupage medium, and I'm not sure how well other ones, those would work in this instance, but I really love the way it alters the absorbency of your working surface. So places where I'm brushing it down here are going to be altered in the way that they absorb media. So I want to thank Stephanie Ackerman for that. And also just share with you guys that sometimes all it needs to get your lagging mojo ignited again is a new tool. And the great thing about the Scraps of Darkness kits is that you are regularly introduced to new tools, new goodies. I really appreciate that about the Color and Creativity Add-ons. The forums are another great place on the Scraps of Darkness website to get inspiration when your mojo is lagging, from fellow crafters, through inquiries, or just checking what's out there and all the tutorials available on the site. You'll find that the design team and the educators over there are really eager and ready and willing to answer any questions, however simple or complex you may think they are. As you'll see, I'm gluing these pieces down with the glue and seal, but at the same time, I'm also applying some random brush strokes around my mini canvas. And those are going to act as something of a resist. And in the places where it has been brushed onto my mini canvas, change the way media absorb into my surface. So this is what it looks like so far. It's actually going to end up being much darker than that. And I'm doing a little bit more sanding. Now we're going to apply some distress inks. These are commonly used by, I think, all crafters. And this one is Vintage Photo, just rubbing it along the edges and seeing how that color concentrates on the ridges from all that wrinkling that I had done. I'm also going to use some distress ink. It's one of the newer colors in Persimmon. The Persimmon matches that juicy colorations mist pretty well, so that's why I went for that one. So here's where all the altering of our surface really comes into play. I'm pressing very hard with my distress ink, and the wrinkling and the gessoing and the media that we've brushed on there are all altering how media absorbs into the surface, creating some modeling. I'm also using some peeled paint because that matched the green in the Kaisercraft paper that I had used. So I want that to echo a little bit. And then I adhered the beautiful die-cut bird using the same glue and seal medium. So here I have the Art Anthology Sorbet, which is a beautiful, shimmery, translucent paint. And this is in chocolate. And I'm just applying it using my finger to darken a lot of this project, to darken the area behind the bird, and also to further distress the edges of my project. And in the end, it creates a real beautiful shimmer all across my card front. I added a little bit more distress, and as a final touch, you can see it at this stage. As a final touch, I used the Art Anthology Dimensional Crystal in Bluebird that came in our kit. I used the orange colored one in my last video. I hope you guys caught it. It was an altered, upcycled box. I used the orange dimensional crystal to create the centers of my stenciled blooms. So if you didn't catch that video, please go take a look. It is called Surface Techniques with Stencils, I believe. And instead of using it with the tip that comes with the container for this project, I just took it out and put it on my finger and rubbed it all along the raised ridges of my card project. And here you have it. So I hope you enjoyed my video. If you'd like access to more inspirations from me or my tutorials, stepped out and video, you can visit me on my blog. That's contadinak.wordpress.com. And I'm always loving new subscribers over there. And if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel here on YouTube, that's contadinak. I hope you enjoyed today's very easy tutorial. I was so excited to share with you some really basic techniques. I hope you'll go visit the Scraps of Darkness website and pick up the Color and Creativity Add-ons for next month because it's going to be a lot of fun and I'd love to craft with you. Okay, see you next time. Bye.